Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your August 2023 tarot card reading. Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. If you are new, my name is Jane. So this month is a really cool month. I'm very excited about August. I think this is kind of the month where we really start to awaken as the sun comes into its dignified position here in Leo, and then we move on into Virgo, which is going to help with the activity levels, which can be really, really fantastic for us. Now, I do apologize. I did not do the July astrology videos. For those of you who have been with me on my journey know that I have some health issues. And actually, June and July, there were some things that came up and it was just a lot harder to do things. I have to prioritize my Soul Seekers group, so I always try to get their content out. This month, I am hoping to do the August. We'll see how everything goes, the August astrology videos, so keep your eyes open for that. If I don't get it, it's probably just because I'm struggling just a little bit. So feel free to watch these tarot readings for either your sun, moon, or rising sign. If you're here for love, you can certainly check out your Venus sign as well. And that's pretty much it. Thanks everyone for being here. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reading. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your August 2023 tarot card reading. So let's go ahead and get started with a card from my intuitive deck just to open up this channel today. So what is it that Gemini needs to know this month? Okay. I'm seeing a singular path that's evening out a lot of things. Now, the evening out concept is pretty collective, okay, with the Venus retrograde and the South Node in Libra right now. But to me, it feels clear. It feels like Gemini doesn't have to work that hard at getting clarity in their life. And whatever you have planned, whatever you've been thinking to do, whatever is on the docket, just do that. And there doesn't need to be a lot of complication. There doesn't need to be a lot of chaos. It's really about just putting one foot in front of the other and letting everything settle. This is not about Gemini taking control of a lot of things. It's simply about doing things. The only thing you have to have control over is yourself and your own behavior. But for the most part, if things fall away, you need to let them fall away. If they come in, you can let them come in if they seem right for you. There's going to be a lot of both going on. And in the middle of that is just you. And it feels productive and it feels efficient. And I think in a lot of ways it feels good. And that Gemini might feel really at peace with the way things are going. Now, if you're not feeling at peace, that's okay. There are going to still be a lot of people who are feeling the swing and sway of these Venusian scales kind of coming back into an equilibrium. But it's all directing you there to this straight line. And there does seem to be something really aspirational that is leading you. Like you aspire to a certain income or a certain type of relationship or aspire to a certain way of life. And that aspiration is enough to keep you going. If you don't have aspirations that are enough, this might be the time for you to really open your heart, because maybe you're kind of misaligned somewhere. And your soul is trying to get you to figure out something else, or try to communicate something else to you. And maybe you've just been kind of a little too, narrow-minded about, well, that's the only thing I want, but it's also not enough to get me, motivated and up out of bed in the morning. So if you're feeling completely lost, this is going to be a good time to let your heart wander and let your heart open and allow your soul to come through and do the talking. Okay, major arcana. Okay, yeah, the moon. I always say this is my big question mark of the tarot. And Gemini, you might be facing a lot of question marks right now, but I also don't think this is anything to really care about. I think the fact that the path is kind of fuzzy, a few steps ahead, is kind of a good thing. I think that's a blessing. Because if all you can do right now is focus on the next step, then you're going to end up in your destination or at your destination. What's happening is Gemini is being what I call paced, where like the universe is not revealing too much too soon. It's pacing you, because what's happening is the universe wants it to be sustainable, and it wants you to build up to it, and it wants you to incrementally overcome your fear rather than have it delivered all at once and you having to get over your fear all at once. Because that's a huge task to do it all at once. So you're being paced. You're going through this in sustainable and manageable increments. And it is a blessing, because where it is you are headed will likely be something that will stay. Okay? Sometimes we have good things that happen and then we push it away because we're just like, it's too much. This won't be too much. This will be exactly perfect. Okay? It'll be exactly perfect. So, who is in the environment that you need to be aware of? Like that one. Okay, Page of Coins. We're getting a lot of pages this month, and I'm just not feeling it. Normally I love pages. Normally they're great. I mean, on the good side, a Page of Coins is an opportunity. It's someone saying, hey, Gemini, here's a deal, here's an idea, here's something for you to work with. That's always a positive thing, I suppose. But for some reason, this month, the pages are feeling so distracting. Like they're feeling like such distractions. And Gemini, this is not a time for distractions. It's not a time for you to be left, right, up, down, and all around. This is a time of going straight. That's it. Just go straight. You already have the plan. You already have the idea. Just buckle down and do it. And I think you'll be so pleased that you did. It's not an accident that these things are coming, because normally when we are dedicated and committed, we send out certain energies, vibrations, if you will. We communicate to the world in unseen ways. So it makes sense that people are drawn to that, because a dedicated, committed person is a high quality asset. So of course, but the question with a page is always, can they put their money where their mouth is? Do they have something to back it up? Because this is all like fun and games, and it's all wonderful, it's all good, but like, where is the resources? Where are the promises? Where are their commitments? And if you want to test the waters, fine. But I feel like this is pulling you, and it might be better to just not. Even if this comes in the form of like help, like someone helping you, I still struggle with it. I'm not saying you don't need help. I think with the South Node in Libra, we are all going through a period where we're really understanding how we relate to other people, and we'll continue to do that for the next year and a half. But we also want to be associating with the right people. And my concern, I don't know if the Page of Coins is the right person. If it was a King of Coins, it'd be a completely different story. But it's not. It's a page. It's like someone who has no experience trying to tell you how to do something. It's probably not going to be that beneficial for you. So make sure you're only listening to the right people. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the cards for Gemini for August 2023. Material Harvest, the Devil, and the Ace of Swords. So the Devil I like. I don't always like the Devil, but this time I do, because it really leads to that commitment factor in the face of temptation. And you will be tempted. There's no doubt about it. Life is very tempting. There are tempting people. There are tempting events. Tempting, going out is tempting. Sitting down and watching Netflix is tempting. Listening to music is tempting. And I'm not saying you can't do any of those things, but, there are temptations everywhere. Literally everywhere. And the Devil really speaks to self-control a lot of times. It speaks to discipline and also commitment, right? It's the commitment to the promises that you've made. And that's one of the things that Leo season, and this is a Capricorn card, and I always talk about this connection between Leo and Capricorn. And there's kind of like an interesting pairing that goes on there, because well, Sun being in the center, and then Saturn ruled, that's considered the last planet in traditional astrology. So they have that kind of being on the extremes. So Leo and Capricorn both very much understand the responsibility and really holding everything together. And not just holding everything together for yourself, but holding it together for your families and your companies and societies at large. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with those archetypes. And so sometimes we kind of step into greater roles, whether that's, you get a promotion at work, or you just take more on for yourself. You just promise yourself more. And when you promise yourself more, there's more you need to do, and you have to show up more. But with the material harvest, which is the 9 of coins, it suggests this is going to be extremely lucrative for you, and triumphant success, just generally successful for you, materialistically and just even spiritually. There's going to be something extremely rewarding at the other end of this. It's rewarding to not give in to temptation. It's rewarding to stay focused. It's rewarding to be dedicated. And like I say, there does seem to be some kind of an aspiration, something aspirational. You want to be someone or be something, or you want to go or do something or somewhere. And it's always good to have those mile markers to drive us. And I think this devil card is like that kind of insatiable need to get there. And maybe there is a little bit of ego in that. Well, ego's not always a bad thing. Maybe there is a little bit of pride. Maybe there is kind of a good pride, like a dignity type of thing, to save your dignity. For the sake of your dignity, you want to get there. And sometimes that's the type of stuff that drives us to do great things. It drives us to, I'm not going to say we can maximize our potential. I always feel like that's kind of a silly notion, since there's always more potential and it's kind of a fool's errand. But we can get higher on the scale. And if you're not completely content, now I'm not saying there's nothing for you to be content about in your life. I'm sure there are lots of things you're happy with. But if there is something that you're not content about, this is the time to do something about it, and the time to face it, and the time to do what it takes to move on, or to get away from it, or to fix it, or just become something else. Okay? But there is something about longevity. Okay? There is something about longevity with that devil card. Spiritual union, that card's been coming out a lot too. Recognition and reward. Awareness is like a magician card. So magician I love, especially with the Ace of Swords. It's that initiation quality, and there's an element of truth, that you are operating from a place of truth. One thing I'm saying to every single sign, okay, sorry if you're cross-watching or you've already heard me say it, but Leo season is very special, whether you have Leo in your chart or not. It's special because the sun comes into its sign of rulership, which only happens truly once a year. And we can kind of count Aries for its exaltation, but really rulership is only once a year. And the sun represents the ambitions of our soul. And when our ambitions of the soul are strong and front and center, we can align more purposefully with our passions. And these passions are not carnal, they're not like hedonistic. They're not things that we, that are bad in any way. These are things that are creative and beautiful and wonderful, and we bring life here in Leo. So much life comes through in Leo. It's the sign of children, after all, of having children. Okay, so we bring life here, and it is beautiful and it's wonderful. So there shouldn't be a lot of doubt. Now, if you are in a state of doubt, okay, that's the devil coming out. If you're in a state of doubt, it's because you're probably fighting against yourself with something. You're at war with yourself with something. You're not admitting something to yourself. You're not admitting that you don't want to be here. You're not admitting that that goal is not important to you anymore. Whatever it is, okay? And you're trying to convince yourself. You're trying to get on board with something that you know in your heart of hearts isn't right for you. But right now, Gemini, with this Magician card, something is peaking, okay? Something is like grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you a little bit and saying, hey, Gemini, wake up. This is good. You need to keep going. We need to bring life into this. We need to dedicate more investment into this. And you're going to know what, quote unquote, this is. Now, a Magician card, right, the awareness, that's all it is. It's just an awareness. It's not anything that signifies full-on manifestation. Material harvest does, which is a good sign, a good omen. But this is really just a beginning. And if you're already on a track with something and it's going well and it's productive and you're being efficient and you're seeing progress, chances are there's going to be a new spark that occurs for you along that path already. And it's going to help push you along. And it's going to help kind of act as a tailwind, and it might even start speeding things up. There's power that comes from awareness. Okay, there's power that comes from that magic. And with the material harvest, recognition and reward, people are going to notice, okay? And I said this to Taurus, I think it was, it's really important that when we feel inspired like this, that we do something about it. It's really important that when we feel the spark of creation, that we do something with it. Because it's not just for us, although it is in large part for us. It helps us to do wonderful things. And it's wonderful things that makes the world a better place. But it also inspires others to do the same. People that we don't even know are truly watching. And I think people are watching you. And maybe that's one aspect of the Page of Coins that I didn't see. People are watching you. They love to see what you do. They love to see what you create. They love to see the direction that you go. They love the changes that you have. Gemini can be a very stormy type of sign, being Mercury ruled, and it fluctuates and flows, and it is always changing and evolving. And that can be such a wonderful inspiration for someone else. So it's not just for you, although when you wake up tomorrow and you do your things, yeah, that's for you. But in the long run, this is more about your contribution. And I think with Saturn in the 10th house, Gemini is thinking about their contribution. They are thinking about things in a much bigger scale. Also North Node in the 11th house as well. And with the spiritual union card, Two of Cups, it suggests high quality collaborations. Could it be romantic? Yes. Could it be professional? Also yes. And it could also be any other type of relationship. Okay, but this is about two minds and two hearts coming together with a common purpose and a common goal. But it's not to enmesh. Okay, with the South Node in Libra, this is not about necessarily merging together or entangling yourself or entwining yourself with another. Okay, this is about still maintaining a sense of autonomy, you for you, them for them, right? That's South Node in Libra, but just doing it together, like next to each other. So you're not losing any aspect of yourself here, but there are soulmates, soul companions, whatever you want to call it, that are viable. And perhaps you don't know who these people are yet. Perhaps you do. Maybe there's a little bit of both, old and new. But these are also people that help to inspire you to wake up and take steps in the morning. They inspire you to keep going. They support you, they love you, and in a way they're doing the same thing with their life. And so when you have two people who are going after their passions, going after their aspirations, and they're doing it walking side by side, it's more likely that each of you will succeed. If you don't have people, now is an excellent time to ask the universe to bring you the people. Okay? Ask the universe to bring you the people to support you, so you can be supported and also offer support. Okay? What else? What else for Gemini? The Tower card, disruption. Suffering in silence, like a Nine of Swords. I'll move these up in just a second. An emotional withdrawal. Okay. Now the Tower card, disruption, is both, a welcome and unwelcome energy. Disruption can always be, kind of sudden and unexpected, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong or bad. It's usually the unexpected nature of disruption that kind of gives it its bad name. But usually disruption occurs when alignment occurs. When you make adjustments, other things need to fall out of place or fall out of line. And that's what I'm saying about things going on around you. These scales of justice are balancing themselves out. And if something got a little too weighted to one side, it's going to take a lot for those scales to figure out how to come back together again. And plus you have Jupiter in the 12th. So it's not a surprise if things leave your life right now or if things fall apart. That's the nature of the 12th house, very common. It's not a surprise when you say you want something. Like, let's say I want to build my business and then you get fired. That would make sense. That would be a big disruption for sure. It's almost as though the universe comes in and burns the bridges that you say you want to burn. Sometimes it does it for you because maybe you don't have the courage to do it for yourself. But you've said in your own mind and in your own heart and in your own soul that you want your life to go in a specific direction. The universe is just here to help make sure that you do it. And that's why commitment and dedication is being tested right now. And the temptation to cower or the temptation to run away is going to be probably strong because you are going to have to show up in new ways. You're going to have to be a different person to a degree in order to get there, in order to deal with it, in order to make your way through. And that's why the spiritual union, that's why being with people is so beneficial, because they can be the people you lean on when you're trying to figure things out or when you're trying to work through things. Suffering in silence, that might also be the temptation, the withdrawal, emotional withdrawal, to pull back. But that's not really what the universe is asking you to do. It's not asking you to clam up or to hide or to run away. This is also very common with Saturn in the 10th. Saturn can be a highly isolating planet. If we don't know how to work with it, it can be highly destructive. That's why Saturn is known for so much destruction and hardship and blockage and all of these things. But we need to stand in the face of Saturn, and we need to bear that responsibility like I was talking about. And we need to show up. And that's normally the harder thing. The withdrawal is like more the trauma response more than anything. It's not the true showing up. I have a feeling this awareness card with the Ace of Swords is intrinsically connected with how you communicate with others. When you start speaking only truth, and I mean like real truth. When I say real truth, I don't mean... I know a Gemini once who would go off on people I'm not saying all Geminis do this because they clearly don't, but this one Gemini, she was awful. But she would say these like really true things, and she would read people to filth. And like no one could really argue because like, yeah, it's kind of true that person, they do that, or they do have that habit of doing it, or they do say that or whatever. But it also was like a pointless truth at the same time, like pointing out a flaw or pointing out something bad or wrong about someone else clearly is just a projection of their own insecurities, whatever. That's not you might be saying true things, but that's also not necessarily like the truth. Okay? Like something that I would say it would be like the truth would be like, I'm really unhappy being in this financial state, right? That would be like a real truth. You're unhappy. Okay, you accept it, or you're tired of fighting for this relationship, or you're tired of this, or you want out of that, right? Those are like real truths. And when you lean into those kinds of truths, like I'll remember, if I may, just one more example just to illustrate my point. Back in the day when I was living in Bali, it was 2017, and I had my tarot job, my tarot channel and everything, and I was also working freelance as like for a commercial real estate guy back home in Vegas. And I had this moment of release, and I said, I don't want to work for this commercial real estate guy. Like I want out so bad. Like I don't want to do it, but he's my best friend, and I feel like I owe it to him and all this stuff. And he was so kind to let me travel and move out of the office and everything. But I really said, like, I don't want this, and I just want a much easier life. I don't want to be working 8 hours a day. I want an easier life. And it was like only a couple months after that he said he was going to be closing his business and like moving to Idaho, and he didn't need me anymore. And that was only after I voiced it. Now, I didn't say it to him, but I did voice it at least out loud to the universe. And then it happened very quickly. And I think it's important for you to understand how ripe and fertile the manifestation realm or the vibrational realm currently is, and how powerful even just your awareness can be, and how creative it can be, and how it can really redirect certain events in your life. So if you start speaking real truths, you're going to be living a completely different life within 6 months probably. When you start putting your foot down and you start just accepting and admitting and being honest, everything can change. And yeah, the disruption can be brutal sometimes, but everything can change. But this is all for the sake of where you're going. It's not really for the sake of you keeping everything intact. Because you can't get to where you're going and keep everything intact. Those are two opposing concepts for you right now. So what's more important, keeping everything intact or where you're going? Okay. Let's pull out the clarifiers. So we're going to start here. Let's see what comes through for Gemini. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards I'm about to pull out. You can find this reading, the rest of the reading, via the comprehension link down below in the description box. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. So let's take a look here at the moon. 10 of Wands, Queen of Cups, and an Ace of Cups. Beautiful. And in the environment for Gemini, what's going on? 4 of Coins, Knight of Swords, 3 of Swords. Okay. Not surprised by the 3 of Swords. So let's see. For material harvest, what does Gemini need to know? There's a Gemini card. Knight of Cups. 4 of Cups. For the Devil card. 7 of Cups. 7 of Wands. And Ace. Okay. Another 9 of Swords. 5 of Cups. Oh, another Magician. King of Coins, Page of Coins, and a Two of Wands. 10 of Swords. I'm going to change. I'm so sorry to do this to you, Gemini, but now I have to change my tune on that Page of Coins. So we'll talk about it in the comprehensive. Okay, so recognition and reward. We got 10 of Swords. We have the Judgment card. And the Empress. 3 of Coins. Ace of Swords. Knight of Wands. I kind of like the Knights for you. Not gonna lie. 3 of Cups. Page of Cups. Two of Cups. The Empress. I'm sorry, the Emperor, not Empress. Queen of Wands. 8 of Wands. 9 of Cups. 4 of Swords, and the Hermit. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you so much, Gemini. You know I love and adore you. Have an amazing August, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.